Hello everyone, guten Abend. This is my second video of this topic because when I was doing the other video I felt like it wasn't good enough, so I'm starting again. And me speaking German is going to be something that you will have to listen to because I am practicing my German and I'm learning German. So yeah, guten Abend. Heute. Ich bin sehr gut und Ihnen? Yeah, my attempt at speaking German. Oh my goodness. The funny thing is with German, I have really good conversations in my head. But then the conversations never, like when I open my mouth, I'm like, what am I talking about? What is this? Mir es gut und Ihnen? Oh, that's another one. Okay. Anyway, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about something really critical, something really fun. Not so fun, but then yeah, it's going to be a fun video and I hope you like it. Don't forget to share and subscribe it if it helps you and if it can help someone else. So today I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks for teaching English in a foreign country. And my own personal foreign country is in Turkey because this is where I have started, or I started teaching English and I'm teaching English. Let's get right to it, okay? So how to get the job. If you haven't watched my last video, please watch the video because I discuss in detail which websites to go to, how to get a job, how to get private students. But for me personally, I feel like going to the schools and handing out your CV is the easiest way because they see you, they see your character, they hear you speak, they can listen to you and they can say, okay, you know, some of these things, it's how you present yourself. That's how you get the job. 90% of the companies or schools I have walked into have given me the job based on the fact that I speak English. I can speak English. And also the fact that I feel like maybe it's just God's favor, but I think when I interact with people on a one-on-one basis, they can see my character, they can feel my vibe and my energy. And I think that's usually really helps when I go to give my CV in person. The second one is to do TEFL. Now, I do recommend this for everyone who is trying to become an English teacher or wants to pick it up as a private or as a part-time job. And here is why. If TEFL in full is teaching English to foreign learners. Teaching English to foreign learners is a certificate course that is 120 hours. You're given basically all the tools you need when it comes to teaching English to foreign learners. You're given practical classes and you can practice on adults and on children. It didn't take a long time. It took me 1 month. It can take 2-3 months depending on how long or how fast you want to do it. The good thing about doing the TEFL is now you know your value. Once you present that certificate to an employer and you tell the employer, okay, I have done this, I have 120 hours of a course, a certificate course, I have this experience, then you gain some ground when it comes to, you know, asking for a salary, because that's something else that I'm going to talk about. Salary negotiation here is like a skill you need to have, because if you do not, then you find that you will be stepped on a lot. But then it's something that you will learn with time, and I have also learned it with time, because my first English teaching job paid me 12 tele. 12 tele right now is barely $1. Back then it was $3. I did not have the TEFL. I was a student desperate for a job, and I think my employer saw the desperation in my face and he gave me 12 tele an hour. And when I look back, I'm like, okay, but you have to start from somewhere. I understand you have to start from somewhere, but that's where I started from. Now I know better. My third point is, if you want to go solely for the private students, because especially for people like me who have no time, you can go on ozeldarsnok.com, register yourself, and students will start contacting you. The upside to this is it is flexible. You and the student make sure that you are both busy. You're both free when you're having those classes, and it's quite flexible. What I would recommend when it comes to private lessons is, number one, most of the time you have these private lessons in the student's house, and the second is you might have them in the student's office. I do not recommend you to have lessons in a cafe if the student is a beginner. But if the student just needs speaking classes, then you can have them at a cafe. I recommend you go to the student's office if they have an office. Please never, never, ever, ever go to a student's house unless it is someone you trust, or if it is a child. I usually give exceptions for children and for people who contact me because they want their child to learn English. This is why I give exceptions. It's because I think if you're going to be in a house with someone and their children, then it means these children have a mother. And if the mother is going to be in the house, it's even better. I would feel safer. But then as a black girl in Turkey, in a foreign land, I do not go to students' houses if the student is male, and I do not allow the students to come to my house even if it is convenient. I just don't. I don't feel safe. The fourth one would be for private students, again, receive the money. Okay, so usually there's this thing that Turkish students say they want a trial lesson, a denemeders. I did it for so long, and I noticed that I was giving free classes. I started valuing my time, because when they tell you that they want a deneme class, it's for them to try you out to see if you're good or not. Let them pay for that deneme class. Let them pay for that trial class. Do not allow yourself to go and sit in a cafe or sit in someone's office for 1 hour, give them lessons or give them the value of your time, which is 1 hour, and not get paid. That is just a no-no for me right now. I did it so many times and the students did not contact me back. So I realized I was losing a lot of time when it came to giving deneme classes, and right now I say it outright. I do not give trial classes. If you want to try me, or if you want me to have a class with you, we will schedule the first class and you will pay me for that class. If you feel like you want to have more classes, then we will schedule more. If you feel like you do not want to have more classes, then you will go your way, I'll go my way. And that's where it ends. I do not give any more deneme classes. So please do not do that. Just value your time and value yourself. 5, don't accept less than you think is enough. With the economy collapsing, with the economy this bad right now, not just the economy, everyone is busy. Our time is very important. I believe that you should know the value of your time, and you should know the value of yourself. You should know your own value. When you do things like TEFL, and when you have like a little bit more experience and more time to say, I have taught this, I have given classes to these people, and it's in your CV, then you are actually entitled to say no to a salary that you're given. And I have noticed most of these language schools want to rip you off. I'm sorry to use that terminology, but they want to rip you off. You need to be very careful how you negotiate your salary, because let me give you an example. There's a job that offered me 500 tele for a month, and I was teaching 2 hours a week, which meant I would be paid slightly, I think 50 tele, around 50, 60 tele an hour. But then they were paying the person previously, they were paying that person 800 tele or 700 tele. And I told them outright that I hadn't spoken to this person and I did not know how much they were being paid. So they thought, or they used that as as an excuse to tell me, okay, we are going to be paying you 500 tele. But then I told the guy humbly, no, I have not spoken to that person, but I think that 500 tele is not worth my time. How do you calculate this? Where you're going? How far is it from your house? How far will it be coming back? So if you're going, for example, for 1 hour, then you're coming back and it will be 1 hour. Then you'll be spending 1 hour teaching that child. Those are 3 hours of your life that you're going to be wasting, or you're going to be using, and you're never going to be getting back. That amount of money that they're giving you should be worth that 3 hours, not 1 hour, 3 hours. Because most people do not calculate this. If someone gives you 30 tele an hour, for example, how long are you taking the metro, or how long is it taking you to reach their house or the course place? 1 hour. Then the class is 1 hour. Then you're going back home. Those are 3 hours. So that means basically that person is paying you 10 tele per hour. Is it worth it? Is it worth the struggle? Is it worth? And then you also have to prepare for these classes. So basically, someone is paying you, let's say you took 30 minutes to prepare. As you go along, you will realize it will take you less and less time to prepare for a class. So let's say 3 hours 30 minutes, someone is paying you 30 tele for 3 hours 30 minutes. Let me tell you right now, with the economy and how things, there's so much inflation, no one is being paid 30 tele. Do not accept it. Do not condone it. I think you need to start with 40 and above. Depending on where you are on the spectrum, I think 40 should be the lowest right now. Because even the course places, like the schools, they're asking for more money from the students. Number 6, when you get paid, make sure it tallies with the amount of hours that you have worked. This is again with the schools. So we are paid based on hours, yeah, the amount of hours that we have worked. And sometimes, let's say you're taking up so many students and so many hours that maybe by the end of the month, you have signed for 60 hours. Let's just say, for lack of a better word, 60 hours is a lot of time, and you're supposed to be paid, let's say, 100 tele an hour. And so that means you're going to be getting 6,000 tele for that month. But then you did not count how many hours that you signed for. So to them or to you, okay, let's just say you did not sign and you get your money and it's around 5,700 tele, okay? The next month comes again, it's 5,700 tele. And then the third month, you start counting how many hours you've actually been teaching. And then it's 60 hours and it's supposed to be 6,000 tele. Then you realize that for the last 2-3 months, you have not been paid around 300 tele every month. This happens a lot. I cannot stress on how much this happens. Like, it happens a lot, and it's something that you need to be very careful about, because once they realize that you're not tallying and you're not checking, then it's something that is going to continue. Sometimes it's very little money. It's like 10 tele here, 10 tele there. So make sure that even you yourself, you're recording somewhere how many hours that you're teaching, how many hours that you're going to that school, and at the end of the month, does the math add up? Make sure that you know that. 7, when it comes to payments, especially for private students, also, is it worth it? I think I covered this. Factor in transport, factor in the amount of time it's going to take you to prepare for the lesson, and then give them an approximate of what you think your time is worth. So this is just about, what do you think, how much do you think your time is worth? That's what you're going to give as a quotation. Number 8, be confident during the interviews. Just be charismatic. It is used, and most of the time the interview is in part Turkish, part English. Let me tell you something. Speak your English with confidence, because most of these people just look for someone who's very charismatic and confident. That's something that they factor in. Number 9 is something that is not very good, but if you're starting out, if you're someone who is starting out and you're just new to the job market and you want to get an English teaching job, they ask you for where you have taught before. And I remember at the beginning, for me, I used to give random places. Yeah, I have taught at English Time. I have taught at this place. Of course, going ahead, going forward, I started having legitimate recommendations, because I collected them and I started requesting my students to write recommendations. That's actually my number 10. Number 10, request your students to write you recommendations, because those recommendations are going to be they are going to come in very handy in the future. Now, if you got a student on ozeldersnok.com, they have a portion for recommendations. Ask your student to write your recommendations, so that when someone is looking for the same type of deal, or they're looking for an English teacher, they can contact you based on those recommendations. If it is not on ozeldersnok.com, make sure that you have like somewhere, or a Google something questionnaire, where you ask your students, what can we do different? What would you say is your best part about the class? This is something that works. Like when someone comes to you and tells you, I need an English teacher, what's your experience. You just send them those recommendations, and trust me, when I'm telling you it works and it increases your value, it does. Like, these are actual tricks that have worked for me. And the last one is, most of us started with agents, and these agents ripped us off. I have done so many jobs where I have worked with agents, and an agent has gotten a job for me and they were being paid even more than I was being paid. And at the end of the day, I wasn't paid and they were paid. If you're working with an agent and it's a one-time job, get your money first before you go for the job. If it is a monthly thing, make sure you are confident enough to ask the school how much they are paying the agent. You know, these things usually look like, you're shy, you do not want to invade people's privacy. No, just tell them, like, okay, I got this job through this person and they told me that I will be because most of these agents also ask us to give them money, and the agent told me that I will be giving him this amount of money a month. I would also like to learn if you are taking a little bit of my salary to be giving the agent. That way, you know that. And most of the girls and boys, new students and new people in Turkey, please know your value. That's where I'm going to end it at, okay? Know your value, know the value of your time, know the value of your money, know the value of your brain. Tamam, okay? Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you learned something. Please don't forget to share, like, subscribe so that you can get all this positivity all day long or all week long. Bye. Mwah.